Hello and welcome to another Bunny and Teddy video diary, and in this one I'm looking back at our holiday in Lanzarote, and it's a holiday that very nearly finished before it started. In this video I'll also be telling you about the 16 places where we went to on the island so that you can sort out your own great holiday on this amazing island. I'll be looking at how to book the holiday and what we did, what our recommendations are on the type of holiday that you'd probably want to book, the accommodation that we stayed at, how we got around the island and how you can do too, the food and drink situation that we encountered on our visit. But before all that, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified of other videos coming up this year. Give this video a thumbs up, as well as other videos that you might watch on our channel. Leave comments as well on this video, because I'm sure a lot of you have been to the island of Lanzarote and have your own stories and memories to share. So let's get this video started and the story behind our holiday. It was late June 2016, yes, 9 years ago, and our friends wanted to go away with us in July. Now, if you know me pretty well, I don't like to be dropped in on anything at all, really. I certainly don't like surprises, but the bunny and our friends were getting excited and they'd already decided on Lanzarote. They'd seen a holiday through Low Cost Holidays. Remember them? Have you ever booked a holiday with them in the past? And seeing it was a good deal at the time, so I thought, well, what the hell, let's do it. Let's be spontaneous for once. Now, the return flight was, I think, with Ryanair, but the flight out there was with Monarch. Remember them? Have you ever flown with that airline? Now, if you are going to Lanzarote in the future, then a car is probably essential for getting around the island. I will be telling you later on about the public transportation situation. There's a big cycling path situation out there nowadays, and also other bits and pieces about getting around other islands in the area. So I'll let you know about that bit a little later on after the story. Now, the car we hired was exactly the right size for the amount of luggage and bags we had, because the boot was perfectly formed for the amount of stuff that we'd got. So after taking photos of the car as you do and doing everything else that you need to do to hire the car, we shot off towards our accommodation. And I'll tell you more about the accommodation a little later on after the story as well. So we arrived at our apartment block. All looked okay and fine until we find out from the accommodation management or reception team that Low Cost Holidays didn't exist anymore, and our holiday looked very much in jeopardy. Now, as you may recall, the company Low Cost Holidays went into administration on July the 15th, 2016, which I think was the day after we got there. The folding of the company was very much blamed on Brexit, as many businesses were damaged by that and went out of business as a result. But with some negotiation and fingernail biting, we managed to keep our holiday, as our apartment people decided that we should pay for the holiday again and reclaim it on our return to the UK via our holiday insurance. And the reason for paying for it again was obviously because Low Cost Holidays was no more, the original agreement was no more, and it meant that Low Cost Holidays were not going to be sending any money to our accommodation for our holiday. Now, if you were booking the holiday now, we would probably recommend Love Holidays, on the beach, that sort of online experience, but don't forget your own local travel agents on the high street who will have more of an experience, personal experience of going to Lanzarote and would give you their own personal sort of viewpoints on a holiday over there, and give you tips and tricks on where to stay through their own personal experience. So don't discount those travel agents on the high street. So in the end, we were allowed to stay. We had a really lovely holiday. So that's that part of the story all done. Let me tell you more about our accommodation that we stayed at. The apartments are called Oceano, and they are pretty near the coast in the town of Costa Teguise. And I do say are deliberately because they are still there, as you can see on Google Street View. Now you do have to park on the street, well, we chose to do so a little bit further in from the sea, where there were plenty of space there, so a little walk down the road to them. Now at this point I would have liked to have shown you photos of the inside of our apartment as we saw it back in 2016, but we didn't take any. So all we have here is just a little selection of photos of the outside, the view from our balcony, because you do get a balcony at the apartment that we stayed at anyway, and it overlooks the pool area as well as the town. I think the reason why we didn't take any on the inside was because it wasn't that brilliant at the time. It wasn't really anything to write home about, but we can, through booking.com here, take a look at what they look like now, and you will see that the apartments are pretty much okay. And remembering it myself, looking back when we went, they have certainly had a refurb and a refresh everywhere. And based on this new look, I would certainly recommend going to them again, and I would probably even check them out ourselves if we were to go back. Now, if you know me, I'm not much of a self-catering type of holiday person. I mean, what's the point in going on holiday if you end up going around a supermarket to get a food shop for the week, to then cook at your apartment or wherever, just as you would do at home? But then there's always eating out, but that's not really self-catering, is it? You're letting other people cook for you, which you would have done in a hotel situation. So that's not really self-catering, is it? In the truest sense of the word, or phrase. Luckily, I'm married to a chef, the bunny, and our friends are no slouches either in the kitchen, so we did pretty well with our supermarket shop. And we did go out on a couple of occasions to a restaurant down the walkway along, I mean, it's, all these towns have got long promenades, and if you go to this one in particular, they do quite a good selection of Spanish food for you there, and it is indeed still there where it was when we went in 2016. And as I say, you have a great experience, great local sort of feel to it, and I would certainly recommend it if you do end up in Costa Teguise. It's a nice walk down the prom to it. If we ever went back, we'd certainly give it another go. The only other food I would recommend personally, because I really enjoyed this particular dish, was from like a takeaway cafe type of place near the coast, and the dish is salchipapas. It's a Peruvian thing by origin, and I suppose you can put anything in it really, I suppose, but I like a chicken based dish with, it got chips in it and sauces and other bits and pieces in it. It was fabulous. So if you do go out for a meal anywhere, see if it's on the menu, because I'd certainly recommend that particular dish if you were out there in Lanzarote. Of course, there's bound to be other places to eat at. There's plenty of places to eat at, particularly on the coastal areas, and certainly you won't get bored. That's the phrase I was looking for. If you do fancy cooking yourself, the supermarkets are well stocked. The nearest supermarkets to Oceano, for example, are Spa Supermercados supermarkets. But when we got off the plane at Arrecife airport, we drove along a bit and came across one of these Mercadonas, if that's how you say it, or Mercadonas. Big place, and you won't be disappointed with the selection of food that you can get from them. So on to tips and tricks, if you like, and starting with getting around the island or islands. And of course there are a lot of places to visit on the island, and a car for me is essential to get around all these nooks and crannies on the island. But there are public transportation options. There are buses to be had. If you go to the Lanzarote information website, there are links to Arrecife buses, or you can get the app Intercity Bus Lanzarote for all your bus needs. And indeed, if you're into cycling, there are many cycle paths, coastal cycle paths at that, if you're really into your cycling. Puerto del Carmen, you can go from there to Costa Teguise by one single path that goes along the coast there. The Lanzarote information website also has links to Lanzarote Taxi and the ferry website if you fancy some island hopping. The same information website has a link to Binta Canarias, the local airline that connects Tenerife or Gran Canaria to Lanzarote as well. So you can do some island hopping in style, shall we say. As far as car hire, it's saying here on the website €108 for 2 drivers for the week, and that's for 2025. Now you may find better deals than that elsewhere. We like Holiday Extras as a comparison to any other website for car hire, and that leads us nicely on to the 16 places we went to back in 2016. None of them have changed in 9 years, I'm sure, so let's get straight into that. Well, we did stay here, so it only seems right to start off with this coastal town. And as you can see, it does get a little breezy. And that goes for anywhere on the island. There's plenty of beach areas along the main promenade, and they're all different. This beach has a great family vibe about it. Check it out. You could say that this place is a symbol of the island, as it gets so much attention from tourists. It certainly is a standout scenic view of a coastal area that has been formed over millennia. There will be coach tours that will include this, and you can get a bite to eat here as well. El Golfo is the next village along, which is also a decent spot to view the rugged coastline. We had to hold on to hats standing looking over the cliff face, but Bunny lost hers. This church is on the site of a village that was engulfed by a volcanic eruption in around 1730. The name means Our Lady of Sorrows, and it was built in 1780. Another super beach. The cliffs are at the eastern slope of a volcano and the chamber from which the lava came out of. The beach itself is 2 kilometers long and is great for surfing. It's not for novices and can be very dangerous if not respected. Another great spot to view the landscape, but you do need the weather. We didn't get the best photo opportunities. This is a popular village for tourists to explore. It lies in the valley of 1,000 palms. It has about 1,200 residents living there, and local artist Cesar Manrique is buried there and has a museum close by. It's a lovely walk round these village streets, and there are some nice little bars and cafes to take refuge in. Go on a weekday, as parking is street only. This is a natural space and a centre of art, culture and tourism located in the north of the island. It's natural because the word Jameo is of Aboriginal origin and refers to a hole that occurs as a result of the collapse of the roof of a volcanic tube. It's quite a unique area with an auditorium, restaurants and a superb path that leads you through part of the tunnel into an oasis that is surreal. north of Playa Blanca is this side. Volcanic activity in 1730 created the lagoon, and the flats followed in 1895 and can produce up to 15,000 tonnes of salt per year. After visiting Jemez del Agua, we took a walk down to this rugged coastline. Not exactly fit for a picnic and a swim, but certainly worth a look. Playa Blanca is the southernmost town on Lanzarote and the newest resort. The coastline is essentially one large 9-kilometre wide bay, which is then broken up into 3 bays. Playa Blanca is the quieter of the 3. There's Playa Flamingo and Playa Dorado. Which is your favourite? We found this in the early evening of one day, and it was a very calm beach area. You can even get a ferry for Fuerteventura from here. The beach is located in the north of the island, next to the fishing village of Ordola. The beach is yet another that is ideal for surfers, and there are currently several surfing championships held here each year. Located a few kilometres from Playa Blanca, the beaches are located on a stretch of the Rubicon coast. They are accessed by sea or by dirt roads. An entry fee for cars was established in 1998. Although there are several beaches, we only saw 2. North of Papagayo Beach, Wax Beach as it's also known, shares with it some of the few facilities in the area, like parking and some old bunkers recycled as catering establishments. You can stand on the cliff looking down at this beach, which is a little longer than its neighbour, but no less beautiful. Although we did stand there looking down at it, we didn't go down to join everyone there because the smaller cove of Papagayo looked more interesting. Papagayo Beach is the most popular in the area, being closed off by cliffs, and it's very quiet and of great scenic beauty, being considered amongst the best valued beaches in the region. When we got there, it got bunny in tears. The bunny in tears, as this was the first European sandy beach like this we had visited. This isn't exactly the beach you would want to sit and relax on, as it's in the flight path of aircraft arriving at Arrecife Airport. But as a treat, our friend took us down to it just to see the planes land, and you can get up close and personal to them as they do. And as you have previously seen in the Bunny Loves Aeroplanes video, you know it's her favourite place to be. On the Sunday of our week away, we drove up to the village of Teguise as we knew there was a market. It's yet another pleasant place to wander around and take in more of that Spanish village atmosphere. And it has been there for over 600 years, and so there's history there as well. We were entertained by traditional dancers, and you can see the full-length video on our channel. This website will tell you all you need to know about Timon Fire National Park, including information about the visitor centre, what to do there and how to get there. We drove through the park's rugged landscape to reach the visitor centre. Once there, you can immerse yourself into the natural geography and history of the island. Outside, there is a platform you can go up to that looks out over the lava flow site, or take the walkway through the site to another viewpoint.
So whatever you do as a holiday on this island, enjoy yourself and take it all in. Thanks for watching, give it a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.